In 1988, I quit my job as a producer at CBS News Sunday Morning, took my little video camera and started traveling around the world, make my own stuff as a video journalist, which was great. And I was having a lot of fun, and about a year and a half into it, I got introduced to this Swedish billionaire named Jan Stenbeck. He was my first billionaire I'd ever run into, and I think my first Swede. Anyway, he flew me to Stockholm, and he understood the economics of what I had done. By going out by myself with a little camera, I'd gotten rid of the cameraman, the sound man, the producer, the editor, all the costs. And he wanted to set up commercial television networks in Scandinavia, the very first ones. So he flew me to Stockholm, and he asked me this life-changing question. One question changed my whole life. He said, "Can you teach other people to do this?" And I said, "Any idiot can do this," which I believe to this day. So I went back to Brooklyn. I was living in some walk-up in Brooklyn, and a kid with a camera. And then about a month later, his lawyer called me and said, "Mr. Stenbeck wants to start a company with you. He'll put up $1 million and give you 30% equity." So I'm, great, let's go. I mean, why not? And so the part they didn't tell me then was that I had to go live in Sweden. So I flew to Stockholm, and I ended up living in Sweden, in Stockholm, for 2 years, working for this guy Stenbeck. And what he wanted to do is he wanted to build commercial television networks. Today, they're still in business. It's called TV3 or TV3. TV3 Norway, TV3 Sweden, TV3 Denmark. And of course, because I had gone to Columbia Journalism School, he wanted to start with the news. That's the first kind of thing he gave me. So he said to me, "We're going to make a news division." And he said, "I want murder, I want rape, I want killings." And I said, "Jan, this is Sweden. It doesn't happen here." So in fact, I remember when I first got to Stockholm, I turned on the TV to see what SVT, the commercial network, was doing in the news business. And one night when I was there, they turned over the entire half-hour network news show to this enormous story. A policeman had been shot in Stockholm. And of course, I don't speak Swedish, so I could barely understand what was going on, but I had somebody translate for me. And so they started with the policeman had been shot in the middle of Stockholm. This was shocking. And they had the yellow tape down and 1,000 police cars and the sirens. And then they interviewed people who were there. And then they went to the police and the commissioner. The entire half hour went over to this major, major story. A policeman had been shot. And in the last segment of the whole thing, they went to the hospital and they found the policeman. And he had a Band-Aid on his arm like this. This is where he was shot. He was shot in the arm like this, grazed, and he had a Band-Aid on it. That's Sweden. I mean, it's not a place you get rape, you don't get murder, you don't get killings. So it was difficult working with Jan Stenbeck because it was Sweden. We couldn't really deliver what he wanted to deliver. Anyway, he got this idea that he wanted to put on, America was just starting America's Funniest Home Videos. You know this show? It's still on the air after all these years. I think it's on CBS. Anyway, he got the idea he wanted to do Sweden's Funniest Home Videos, which may be sort of an oxymoron to begin with. Anyway, he said to me, "We'll do Sweden's Funniest Home Videos," and he bought the rights for Sweden's Funniest Home Videos. You bought the format rights for the thing, and then you could run it. And they gave you some, videos to prime the pump, but ultimately you had to do it yourself. Now, the big problem we had, and this is around 1991, is that nobody in Sweden had a video camera. Therefore, there were no Funniest Home Videos because there weren't no home videos because nobody had video cameras. Now, everybody has an iPhone, so we have a tendency to forget that it's not that long ago. I mean, what are we talking, 20 years ago? For me, it's long, but in the realm of the media environment, it's not that long. 20, 25 years ago, people simply didn't have video cameras. Even in America, you remember those giant, like they put the VHS deck in the side and the thing was this big, and people only really took them out for birthdays or weddings or, Christmas and crap like that, and put them away. So when we did Sweden's Funniest Home Videos, what we had to do was we had to actually ship the people who were going to shoot the funniest home videos, video cameras, so they could shoot the funniest home videos. And of course, it was a country that had no experience with making videos whatsoever. So it was a weird thing from the very beginning. So we started shipping the video cameras out with instructions on how to use the videos and what to shoot. And, you don't get a lot of stuff when they don't have a culture of making video. The whole world didn't have a culture of making video. And so in the beginning, nothing was coming back. And finally, the first thing that came back was some farmer in northern Sweden had taken a video of his naked 14-year-old daughter chopping the head off a chicken outside in the snow. I looked at this thing and I thought, oh man, this is demented. And Jan said, we put that on the air. And I said, Jan, if you do that, I'll go to jail. And he paused for a minute and he goes, I can live with that. So anyway, I was with the guy for 2 years. It was an interesting experience, but the takeaway here is not so much the chicken. The takeaway here is that not so long ago, nobody had video cameras. Today, in one of the greatest transformations in communicative power, everybody has a video camera. If you have a smartphone, you have a video camera. Not only does it shoot, it edits, it puts music, it puts graphic, and it shares with the world for free. This is, to my mind, the greatest communications revolution since the printing press. And the weird thing is that we don't really all take advantage of it yet. But we will. And of course, that brings us back to the VJ.com. The reason we did the VJ.com is to teach people what to do with the cameras. Don't have your daughter cut the head off a chicken in the snow, but you can actually do journalism. You can take control of your life. You can take control of the media. And that's the whole purpose behind the VJ.com. It's a massive revolution. Power that used to be in the hands of very few small, either media companies or billionaires like Mr. Stenbeck, who's dead now, they controlled what was on the air. Today, you can control what's on the air, and all you have to do is know what to do with this phenomenally powerful tool that's in everybody's hands, where it used to be in nobody's hands. It's a revolution. So that's it from England for today. As you can see, it's a lovely day here in Britain, like it is every day. So I'm going outside to enjoy the sun, which we get 365 days a year, even if it's behind clouds a lot of the time. And I'll talk to you later. I hope you found that interesting.